So then, what is in the sky anyway? The former governor in Arizona says he saw something 10 years ago in the Arizona sky at night. And he says the U.S. government and other governments around the world must investigate claims like these. Fife Symington is with me now. Sir, good morning to you.
Good morning, Bill.
You're fighting this battle 10 years later. What did you see that night in 1997?
Well, it's the famous Lights over Pheonix incident that happened in March of 1997. And thousands of people saw it. It caused quite a stir here in the Valley of the Sun, but it was a unidentified flying object with a bright leading wing structure, enormous, and it really created a lot of panic across the valley.
So you're sitting here today 10 years later, and you believe again that you saw a UFO, right?
Yeah, I really believe that I saw, it was certainly an unidentified flying object, but of course there were stories put out that there were flares that night launched by the Air Guard or by the Air Force, but you know, flares don't fly in formation, and so we know it wasn't flares.
Well, you dismissed that claim from the U.S. Air Force. You know, a lot of times, Governor, when people hear claims like this, they think it's a bit kooky. What do you say to them?
Well, you know, it's interesting that in England, it's a matter of a law in Great Britain that when there's a UFO sighting, they have to investigate it. And at our panel on Monday in Washington, where this was discussed by people from 7 nations around the world, and when I say people, I mean government officials, Air Force generals, they're much more open to this idea, and they're willing to admit that when they don't know what something is, they put it right out there and they say, you know, we really don't know what that is.
Well, you mentioned getting together in Washington, 14 former high-ranking members of the military and governments from 7 different countries, as you mentioned there. I'm a little tight on time, but if they're out there, why don't they come down and say hello, Governor?
Well, I don't know. There are lots of reasons that they may not come down and say hello, but I'll tell you, if you've ever watched James Fox's movie Out of the Blue that he's produced, where he deals with the top 5% UFO sightings around the world, it's extremely convincing, and our government needs to open up an investigation, just as they did up until 1969 with Project Blue Book, and get into this officially to try to seek the truth.
Thank you for your time. Fife Symington. We'll allow our viewers to decide on their own whether they believe your story or whether or not they think something else might be out there. Thank you, sir. Good to have you on today. Intriguing, huh?
Very intriguing, and so credible, you know. It's like, if he believes it, I don't